Hey everyone, welcome to Soccer Talk. I'm Bo Williams.
And I'm Greg Rocool.
Yeah, great to have you here. Hey, we've got some soccer to talk about. Since we had a little bit of a break last time, so we kind of took you around the league. We're talking about different things, but today we're going to look back round one of the Jägermeister Cup now in the books, and some good news for One Knox.
Absolutely. Yeah, if you didn't catch our episode last week, we have the brand new in-season tournament just kicked off, had their first match week over this past weekend. And yeah, some pretty interesting results. And yeah, obviously the start that One Knox wanted. Bounce back after a loss to Omaha in the league, and then they come out to get 3 points on the road in the opener in the Cup.
And before we get into the highlights, that says a lot about the team. There was a good test there, coming off a tough loss. It was a tough game against Omaha, and that was a league game, regardless. But you come back, you take on a rival, and you're able to pull out a win. It says a lot about the team, I think. And be able to rebound.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great showing from the team to go into a difficult place and get the job done.
Yeah. So let's take a look at it. We'll head down I-75. We'll go back in time. Chattanooga, Knoxville taking on the Red Wolves. And again, this is round one of the Jägermeister Cup. So
yeah, tightly contested affair. We got it started for the first chance for One Knoxville here in the 13th minute. And you see some build-up starting to happen from deep with Sievert Haugli here. He's able to take that space, put a ball into the midfield, a nice win from, I believe, Callum Johnson, and then they're off to the races out on that right flank.
And Greg, we see a lot of this. This is kind of how One Knox likes to set things up. You kind of work it back out to the outside, punch it back into the middle, and unfortunately this time Chattanooga's keeper comes up with a nice save there. But again, we saw this over and over and over again.
Yeah, do you see Gio Calixto, once they're able to get it out on those flanks to, isolate that defender one-on-one and then get that shot in on goal. Not the result that they wanted, but yes, that is a pattern that you're going to see early and often for One Knox, to be able to combine on those flanks with whether it's James Thomas on the right flank or Sean O'Hearn, or on the left flank you have Stuart Ritchie. Those fullbacks, those fullbacks are just flying forward at all times and that's really is their number one way they're able to advance that ball into that attacking third.
All right, that was in the 13th minute. Now we advance 10 minutes, go to the 23rd, and well, again, kind of a similar plan of attack here. Knoxville aggressive there at midfield, and they turn it around, and again, kind of walk us through here, Greg, what we're looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. You see, we always talk about how solidified, in the back the defense is, but, they've really shown that they're able to, get some pressure into midfield, win the ball, turn it over, and then that creates a chance for them to get some service into the box. You see a great effort from Callum Johnson, a great save from Chattanooga keeper Tim Trilk. But, it's just great to see how competitive and, feisty they are in that midfield area to get those turnovers, which then just creates an offense for them to build on.
And that was a great save, and we'll give credit where credit is due. Nice reaction time there, just kind of getting his hand, punching it back over the bar.
Yeah, pretty nice showing, I think, from Gio Calixto this week. This is a player that they signed mid-season last year, along with Rodolfo Castro, to kind of bring a different dimension for the attack. He's played pretty well, hasn't quite had that breakout performance, I would say, for the team yet. But if he is able to reach another level, then they get Frank Ross back maybe after a couple games out with injury. All of a sudden, you have a really very compelling several options in attack that they could work with.
All right, still in the first half. We'll go to the 37th minute now. Again, One Knox, that duel at midfield, saw this a lot. One Knox, you credited the midfield winning the ball here. Nice combo play, taking it into the box. But again, Chattanooga coming up with some good defense here as well. But good to see the ball movement by One Knox, especially so deep.
Yeah, once they're able to get into that, as they call it, zone 14, that's right on the top of the box, like around that semicircle, you can really tell that they've taken a step in that area to be able to combine and put together a nice attacking play in that area of the pitch. But as we said before, once again, it ends up on the right flank, a nice combination of Calixto, who then lays it off to the fullback James Thomas, a nice cutback for Callum Johnson, who unfortunately can't quite get it on frame. But it really just shows the influence that Callum Johnson, you saw him win a duel earlier in one of those earlier chances in the midfield that led to that attack, and you see him, be able to make those late runs into the box to have a chance to shoot on goal. This really is one of the most influential players for One Knoxville. One of the first names on the team sheet, and it's easy to see his impact in games like this.
Yeah, all over the field, getting it done. All right, go to the 48th minute now, and this comes off a free kick, and this is going to be the big goal. Take a look at it here. Actually, this was, okay, so nice deflection.
Here we go.
Here we go. Here's the play we're looking for. With the free kick delivery from Johnson, flicked on by Skelton. This is the game's only goal. I mean, beautifully done. Finds that far corner. Nice job there. And sometimes one's all you need. Unfortunately for One Knox, that's all they needed.
That's right. It's great to see a captain's contribution. You have the center back, Jordan Skelton, able to have that impact on those set pieces. And this is something you're hopefully going to continue to see from this One Knox team is, if you watch them when they were in USL League 2, it felt like every set piece was a great scoring chance for them.
Right.
And you've kind of seen that. They've kind of been able to build into that at the professional level. And so, yeah, they have a lot of really, let's get back to us. Here we are. Yeah, they have a lot of great weapons on those set pieces. Those tall center backs that have the ability to, win a duel one-on-one and get that headed chance. And yeah, if that's something that they can add, some regularity into their game,
sure.
Once again, you're looking at a really compelling, multi-dimensional attack.
That's the key, multi-dimensional. I mean, it keeps the defense on their heels, really, and guessing where the next shot is going to come from. All right, so 1-0 is the final in this one. A lot of close games. I mean, this Jägermeister Cup is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. When you take a look at each of the groups, there's 3 groups. You look at our group, and you've got Charlotte and South Georgia there, 1-1. This thing went to, I guess, penalties, 5-4. Charlotte wins that one because there's no overtime, right? We play regulation, and we go straight to PKs.
That's right.
Yeah.
Tied after regulation, you're going straight to penalties, and if you do get to penalties, each team is going to get 1 point in the standings, and the shootout is for that additional point. So since One Knoxville was able to get that win in regulation, 3 points puts them at the top of the group. But you'll see that they were only one of 2 games that
right.
finished in regulation in this first match day.
Yeah, you take a look at the top group there was Spokane and Central Valley. Central Valley winning on PKs 4-2. You got Greenville and Richmond. Richmond, the Kickers, who we're going to see here soon, are actually not Knoxville. We're going to go up to Richmond, but that's going to be the next opponent for a regular season matchup. But 5-3, the final there, and then down below, the only other game that in a regulation, Lexington, winning 1-0 over Madison.
Right. So yes. One Knoxville is they're in the central group with Lexington and Forward Madison there. So both games in that group finishing regulation. And if we switch over to the standings here, you're going to see that it's it's Lexington and One Knox that it's on the top of the central group standings after one game. And 2 local rivals that have already have a decent bit of history in the league, and now we're going to see them potentially going head-to-head for that top spot in the Central Division.
And as we were saying last week, the winner of each group, and then there will be one wild card that's going to sneak through, and it's really based on how many goals you put in how many times you put the ball in the back of the net, not so much head-to-head or anything like that. So you may not have the perfect record, but at the same token, they're going to be looking at how many your attack and how many goals you put in the net to try to get that wild card.
It is pretty unique. In most tournament formats, you're going to see the first tiebreaker be in points or a head-to-head matchup. In this one, most goals scored is going to go through. So you always wonder if that's going to force a change in kind of the team mentality with the PK shootouts straight after regulation and the goals tiebreaker. That didn't quite bear out in this first round of matches. You saw teams that were pretty pragmatic still in their approach, not really going for broke, trying to score as many goals as you can. But we might see as this tournament progresses, teams might get a little bit more desperate, and then all of a sudden you're going to see really high scoring games.
Attack after attack after attack. And then, of course, next year you're going to be adding the championship, USL Championship to all of this. So this is kind of the test run, if you will, which is USL 1. But next year the field will be even bigger. But we'll talk about that next season. Another big topic this year is well, do you want to go? I see you've got the team of the round. So let's talk about that real quick before we go to what's coming up next year for One Knox.
That's right. One Knox represented by 2 players here in the team of the round for the first matches of the Jägermeister Cup. We see midfielder Callum Johnson. You saw him all over just in our limited run of highlights here. Had that assist on the lone goal to Jordan Skelton. And yes, we also see Captain Jordan Skelton represented in the team of the week defense here.
And very widely so. Again, congratulations to them, and we'll see how things play out in round 2. Now where I was going to go, the next big step for One Knox, we always see them expanding and growing. You've got One Knox, that's the top team, but now we've got Two Knox. This was announced here recently, and this is kind of like the B team, I guess, if you will.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. If 1 is good, 2 is better. And they just announced this week the formation of Two Knox. This is going to be a platform for elite youth players in the area. They're targeting ages 15 to 19. Get them in a professional setting, training 4 times a week, playing I think over 20 matches over 7 months.
And they can train with the first team.
That's right.
Which is great for them. Yeah.
Yeah. one of the most interesting developments in American soccer over the last, decade plus has been the creation of, a really more linear path for local players wherever you are in this country to see that you're like, okay, there is an opportunity. There's a pretty straightforward path for me to, have the opportunity to, either be scouted by a professional team or get into an academy system with a professional team where I'm training every day against top level players. If the first team coaching staff decides potentially, getting integrated with that first team staff, we've already started to see that with One Knoxville. If we go back to that screen, you see Leo Santos here is a junior, I believe, at Alcoa High School.
Sure.
He's gotten a couple of. Not only has he gotten to train pretty regularly with the first team, he's even gotten into a couple matches. Recently had his first start in the US Open Cup. But yeah, just great to see more opportunities for young players to, be able to test themselves at the highest level possible to see if there really is an opportunity to play either whether that's in college or a professional team.
And so you mentioned college. This won't impact their college eligibility, and there's no overlap with the high school season, so it won't impact that as well. But again, this is just another opportunity, and like you said, it kind of gives that direct path. It will be interesting to see as we see more paths like this created, whether it's through Major League Soccer or the USL One or USL One or USL Championship or whoever. Where does college soccer start to fall into all of this?
Yes, it is pretty interesting. We still see players from the college game able to make an impact, whether that's in these USL leagues or at MLS. But yeah, it's always great to see as many opportunities as possible for these young players to get that chance.
All right, so that's something else you have to look forward to. Two Knox, so you got One Knox, Two Knox, and now kind of veer away from One Knox for just a second. We want to talk, because we're talking all things soccer here in our area. Talking about the Lady Vols, and they've just picked up a player with, whose dad has quite the resume. Her last name may be very familiar, but again, Allie Howard. This is a big pickup, and I think it's great that she's coming across from Memphis, from West Tennessee, coming over to East Tennessee.
Absolutely. Great to see. Yes, news broke today on Allie Howard's Instagram. This is the daughter of United States men's national team legendary goalkeeper, U.S. Soccer Hall of Famer Tim Howard. You might see him if you're watching the Premier League, maybe went to the Premier League Fan Fest in Nashville last week, on the call for those in the studio for the NBC coverage of the Premier League. But it's great to see, yes.
But we should know she's not a goalie.
Right,
she's not following in her dad's footsteps.
You would think, yes, the daughter of a legendary keeper, might be in goal herself. But this is a striker. This is a player that's going to, be getting forward, trying to get those goals. And yeah, I can't imagine the backyard training sessions, shooting on goal with the great Tim Howard.
Yeah, he could tell you, say this is where the blind spots are for the goalkeeper.
Exactly.
He can give you some insight on what the goalkeeper's thinking when you're going in to put that shot away. So it'd be great to have her here in the orange and white.
Exactly. Yeah. You see, I wonder if there's a little bit of a subliminal messaging here with the tiger on the shirt from Tim Howard.
Tiger, yes.
This is he spends I know he lives, I believe, a lot of the year in the Memphis area. Mm-hmm. That's where his kids, go to school. Allie is coming from Briarcrest Academy in the Memphis area. So I imagine, yes, he's sympathetic to, University of Memphis.
He's still very active too in the USL club there.
That's right. He's
is he a part owner, I want to say, or something along those lines, or
right, minority owner of Memphis 901 FC, USL Championship Club. We also got to see that club come to Knoxville last year as part of the Open Cup, and he also works as a sporting director for that club as well. So yes, he hasn't quite donned the big orange quite yet, but I can't wait to. It'd be great to see him at Regal, wearing that big orange.
I was gonna say he'll have to put it on when he comes to Knoxville. That is for sure. All right, so that's how things are shaping up. Real quick, we kind of alluded to it. Up next for One Knox, another road game. This is back to regular season play, taking on Richmond. So again, that's what's coming up for the guys on Friday. So it'll be a Friday game, not a weekend game, but a Friday game on the road at Richmond.
That's right. Yeah, busy month for One Knoxville, and we're getting started early with that Friday game against Richmond. Then they're going to be back at it home at Regal Stadium of Wednesday of next week against Forward Madison. Mm-hmm. This is both of these games are in the league, no cup matches, but that game against Madison is going to be interesting to see since they are in that group with One Knoxville in the cup. Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how both those teams approach that as they kind of maybe get some intel for those critical cup matches.
And as you saw there in the standings right now, sitting third overall, but still with a couple games in hand. So, Yeah, okay, we dropped from first to third, but keep in mind that the two teams above us, Spokane and Greenville, have each played 6 games, so we still have 2 in hand there. So that's kind of how that plays out. But good stuff. They'll be on the road, then back home, as you mentioned, coming up next Wednesday. So be sure to get your tickets. Go online to One Knox. You can grab those tickets.
One thing I just want to point out from the Chattanooga game, we didn't get to cover this in the highlights, but in the second half, we saw the season debut of Kingsford Alhaji, a creative player that they signed from South Georgia Tormenta over the offseason. You know, we talked a lot about chance creation in the kind of transition from that year one in the professional ranks to this year. And, you know, even without this player, they've been able to, you know, create a good amount of chances, good amount of goals. But, you know, it's going to be really interesting to see how this player, you know, integrates into that first team attack. And, yeah, this is a player that could really be a critical creative force in that attack.
Well, and we already saw him in some of those highlights. If you look close, especially the first one that we showed you, he was part of that as they brought it down. We're kind of moving the ball, moved it back out to the outside. He got a touch in there. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they work him in, how he gets more comfortable with the flow of play, and, again, makes that impact. But, again, just another piece, as you were saying, so we're not so one-dimensional. We're multi-dimensional, as you mentioned, with so many players when it comes to the attack, whether it's just ball movement, creating those chances, or actually putting the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to have, you know, plenty of dimensions to this attack, you know, plenty of different tools in their toolbox to potentially break down these USL League One defenses. And, yeah, this is going to be a busy month of May, so tune in for Soccer Talk and our recaps after the game, mostly in our 11 p.m. broadcasts. And, yeah, it's going to be a very exciting month.
Looking forward. Hope to see you out at Regal for some of these games. And, of course, as Greg just mentioned, we'll always have recaps for you right here.
Just wanted to, also to play out on if you're interested in potentially to be involved in that Two Knox with your child, they're going to have tryouts May 28th and 29th at the the University of Tennessee Rec Sports Complex on Sutherland Avenue. And yeah, if you're interested in trying to have your child involved in that one, just check out oneknox.com, and they're going to have some info on the newly minted Two Knox.
Yeah, and exactly. You know, and they've done a great job kind of incorporating a lot of the clubs into the One Knox family. So it's great to see that it's just not a team, it's really the community. Starting with our youth, working up, giving some of these youth a chance to obviously maybe have that opportunity to play at that next level here at some point. All right, good?
All right,
We're good. We'll be back again next week, folks. Have yourself a great one, but again, go One Knox.
All right, take care.